There has been a lot of mixed reaction to Mamphela Ramphele's decision to return to active politics. The ANC has dismissed her plans to register Angang SA as a political party to contest next year's elections, saying the move is grievance-driven and is unlikely to last. Opposition parties, however, are a little more cautiously optimistic. Well, let's speak to the tripartite alliance partner, that's COSATU, for their view on what is happening with Ramphele's political platform, as it's known. A pleasure to welcome back to the show. Always willing to talk to us, COSATU spokesperson, Mr. Patrick Craven. Mr. Craven, morning to you. As always, a pleasure to have you with us. What is COSATU's stance on this political platform, as it's now being called?
Good morning. Well, first of all, we're always happy to see new political parties. It's part of our democracy, and everyone has the right to form a party, to win votes, and to ultimately seek election to government. But having said that, we don't think this particular initiative is going to offer anything new. And rather than look at the words of the opening statement, which inevitably paints a rosy picture that everything is going to be absolutely perfect under this party, we think we should look at the history of the person who's delivering those words. A former managing director of the World Bank, a former chairperson of Goldfields Mining Company. And we believe strongly that somebody from that sort of background is most unlikely to share the views of COSATU members, or indeed the majority of South Africans. And if you look in more detail at the statement that was issued yesterday, there's nothing that would suggest that the policies of this party would be any different in essence from the Democratic Alliance and indeed other opposition parties, and certainly nothing that would convince COSATU to change its long-standing affiliation towards the ANC, which for all the occasional problems we have, is far, far more likely to tackle the problems of unemployment, poverty and inequality than this new party.
Let me put this quote to you, Mr. Craven, if I can. The poor and poor workers suffer most while ANC politicians live it up. Is it not true that COSATU often fights for a better living wage, a better increase when it comes to salary negotiations? And that's a comment from Mamphela Ramphele herself, saying that she will fight for the poor in South Africa. Is that not what you believe?
Of course we do.
You say you disagree?
It's inevitable, as I say, that anybody launching a party will say that she wants to help the poor. But again, if you look at the record of the company that she has just a few days ago stopped leading, what was its record on the payment of workers' wages to miners? If you look at the World Bank, it's an organization which has consistently throughout the world tried to force governments to adopt austerity programs which have been against the interests of the poor. What credibility can a party led by such a person have?
Well, let me actually perhaps bring in somebody who had a very similar thought to you. In fact, Mr. Craven, I can ask you to just hold for me for a moment. Let's just take a quick look at some of the other reaction that has come through from the formation of this new political platform. One of the people we spoke to about this. Take a quick look.
It's not a case of, you know, we'll implement the ANC policies better than they do. There are many different ways of slicing our cake. The increasing state's role in the economy is a huge mistake, because it's premised on the thought that somehow you can just create jobs because you've got lots of money, and you can't. The jobs have got to be genuinely productive, or you will be throwing money down the drain and you won't get it back. And the countries of Europe, having thrown money down the drain for a large part of the 80s and 90s, are finding out that it's very difficult once you've dug your hole to get out of it again.
A well-known newspaper publisher as well, also talking about how important it's going to be to try and create more jobs as well. Are you going to try and engage with Mamphela Ramphele on something like this, the way that, for example, Peter Bruce suggests that conversations need to start taking place with a new party like this? Are you willing to meet with them?
We're willing to meet with anybody, but I don't really see much prospect. And in fact, what he was just saying actually confirms our worst fears, because the policies of Peter Bruce are certainly not those of COSATU. And if, as he is suggesting, his policies are very close to those of this new party, then I think that will confirm all our worst fears. In particular, there is a veiled attack upon the trade union movement. It singles out trade union leaders, but those are leaders who were democratically elected by the members, and so by implication, it's an attack upon the unions. and suggests that just as when she was an employer with Goldfields, she would like to see the unions weaker and leaderless, which is all the more reason for opposing it.
Just a final question to you, Patrick. Would you like to see this new political platform, a new political party, if you want to use that term, would you like to see Mamphela Ramphele fail at what she's trying to do? It's a final question.
I'm afraid the answer would have to be yes, because we don't agree with her policies, and therefore we have no possible interest in seeing her succeed in implementing them.
Patrick, always a pleasure. Thank you for coming in this morning and talking to us. COSATU spokesperson Patrick Craven weighing in on the debate and the lots of reaction to a new political platform being formed by Mamphela Ramphele.